Actually, I won't be talking that much with you about developments in the Netherlands, although there is a sense in which principles that I will be discussing with you originate and very influential in the Netherlands. So, what I'd actually like to talk to you about is actually a more general movement in science and science policy. That movement is associated with the term of open science. Basically, the current, you could say, you could call it an ideological shift in the way that science policy frames the role of data in science is going on. Is that we're moving from a situation in which data used to be thought of as kind of a resource that belongs first and foremost to researchers individually. Nowadays, data is being thought of, reframed as a kind of common resource or a source of science more generally. There are a couple of reasons or background movements feeding into that. One aspect of it is that lots of scientific objectives cannot really be achieved by researchers individually collecting their data. So science is scaling up, and ways in which we collect and maintain data sets is scaling up. Population-based biobanks are an example of that movement in biobanking, of course. There's also the issue that these days, samples and data are routinely reused. For reuse, that would also mean that different researchers will make use time and time again of the same data. And of course, the example in biobanking that's pretty common is the use of health data collected within the context of healthcare. That's not really any specific researcher's resource either. There are also political and public ideas and ideals feeding into this. One is the issue, that's also a scientific concern, of course, the issue of reproducibility. We know that most, as one of your fellow compatriots would say, that most published research findings in medical research are actually false. One way to change that situation would be to enforce or move more generally into a situation where research findings are routinely reproduced by other researchers, also in the context of, especially in the context of human genomics. Human genomics is actually moving ahead of the curve, I would say, with respect to replication methods, I would say. And then there's, of course, the fourth issue of public accountability and ownership. The idea is that citizens, but especially also public research funders, are also partly, so to say, co-controllers of the data, of the scientific data. And so they have some kind of say over how the data is being used. And the idea of open science is, of course, that data shouldn't be, so to say, kept in silos, just controlled by researchers individually themselves. The idea is that it should contribute to open innovation as well, and be open to publics to contribute and to understand. And so, currently in the European research policy arena, open data is becoming the default option in current research funding schemes. It's becoming an obligation in Horizon 2020 programs, and the idea there is that data should be as open as possible and as close as necessary, as the saying goes. And so what you see there is that the concept of open science isn't so much about data just being put out there, being made public through the internet, but that it should be made as accessible as possible to any researcher, to anyone with a legitimate research objective. So, in order to achieve that, we need, at least this is the argument, that this is what Eric also stands for. We need good infrastructures to maintain all that data, to disclose and provide access to that data. And one major current upcoming initiative in the European research arena is actually the European Open Science Cloud, the European Cloud Initiative. It's actually a €2 billion research funding scheme within the context of Horizon 2020. That's going to be coming up. And Eric, I suppose, is also pretty much directly involved in it. Now, what's happening in the Netherlands with respect to this European Open Science Cloud is that gradually, this is also probably happening in a way, also happening at the European level, gradually we're moving to a situation in which biobanking infrastructures are only one aspect of more general movements towards connecting data and connecting scientific resources more generally to one another. So a new initiative in the Netherlands, it's called Health Research Infrastructure, Health RA. It's actually trying to, so to say, provide a kind of umbrella initiative for all kinds of research infrastructure in the biomedical and health research domain. The idea is that this national infrastructure can, so to say, connect different types of research and research data and resources together, provide standards and standard ways of working together. You could say that this is a kind of gradual outgrowth of the movement that's been driven at the European level by BBMRI, Eric, Biobanking, the biobanking field specifically. I've also put on a YouTube movie, kind of easy explanation about how this works. You can just, once you download that, let's get it. Now, the trouble is that open science, data sharing, putting data out there in the open is a great ideal. But in order to achieve it, you need to translate it to more, so to say, more operational principles. And that's where the FAIR principles come in. These principles are currently becoming, so to say, the kind of go-to principles to understand and to understand what open science and open data is actually about. Within the scheme of Horizon 2020, these principles are always referred to as, as the ways in which you should actually manage your data and the principles to which you should adhere when writing so-called data management plan. These principles stand for, at least the acronym FAIR stands for the ideas that data should be made findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. Now, one interesting thing that I've seen that, to me, as an ethicist, what I consider a bit problematic about these principles is that once you, as a researcher or an ethicist, would want to dig deeper as to the meaning and how to comply with these principles, you won't actually find that much in the academic literature, and you won't find that much explanation by policymakers. So, what you would find in scientific literature, however, is a very technical, IT-driven kind of explanation. So what I figured I'd do over here is very quickly lead you through a quite simple explanation of what these principles actually mean. So the principle of findability actually means that basically when you build a data set, you should actually describe it, index it, and make sure that it's registered somewhere. Lots of open access data archives actually provide this functionality. And when it comes to collecting biological samples, lots of biobanks also provide this service. Now the principle of accessibility means that once you set up a data set, once you start collecting data, before you start collecting data, you should think about providing access procedures to it. And ideally, you should also think about how access can be automated, because most data processing these days actually involves not so much human-controlled data processing. It actually involves, for instance, using interconnecting different types of data using APIs. Now, the principle of interoperability is actually about making sure that data and metadata, so the data about your data set, is actually involves set up according to common and also open and publicly accessible standards. So that basically, this is kind of accountability principle, you could say, so that other researchers, maybe even interested citizens, can understand the ways in which your data have been collected and the ways in which you have, so to say, formatted. The idea of reusability actually involves setting clear conditions for use. So, what's the scope? How can this data actually be used? And also make sure that there's some kind of plan about how your data will be archived so that it will remain accessible in the future. Now, what you see, general backgrounds ideas that are feeding into this particular version of open science is that, first of all, reuse of data should be planned for from the start. It also means that data doesn't necessarily need to be open access, it can be controlled access. And that's from the perspective of privacy, of course, a plus. It also means accounting for, not just for data, it also means accounting for metadata. So making sure that it's clearly described how you've gone about with processing your data. And there's also a strong stress on machine readability, which I've already touched on. Now I won't dwell on this much, but once you start to dig into, how are we actually achieving this in the context of biobanking, there's lots of ways in which BBMRI Eric is already contributing to achieving these goals. For instance, the goal of findability, that's where the directory biobanking comes in. And when it comes to accessibility, the sample negotiator, the BBMRI Eric is. When it comes to interoperability, also some, and reusability, a number of initiatives relating to the ethical, legal, and social issues, and the common service that we are part of also play. The code of conduct, which Mr. Meinhofer will talk about after me, could also be contribute to the interoperability of the standards used in setting up, in keeping data samples reusable. Now, this all sounds very nice, of course, and the problem is, of course, but there is, of course, a background. If data is fair, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's fair enough. There's also other rights to take into account. And first of all, as I said, fair data doesn't mean it's open access, it means control. So then the question is always, how is it controlled? There, the imperative of openness becomes something to keep on taking into account. Something that I'd like to discuss a little further is actually the point about how this relates to privacy, because I think the FAIR principles can also help us achieve open science in a, you could say, privacy responsible way. What we see happening in general in the general data protection regulation is that we're moving away, at least in my view, away from this paradigm of consent or anonymization, where either data for scientific research is being presented to in very minute ways, or data is being anonymized, in which case, so to say, research participants are, so to say, well, segregated from the data and also lose their rights in their data. Now, three principles which are very important in this respect are the principles of data protection by design, broad consent, or maybe in some cases another legal term, and good governance. Now, data protection by design, I think, goes very well with the idea that you should plan for reuse. Once you're planning for reuse, it means reconsidering how you're going to process data anyway. And so the idea that you should also plan for how you will protect your data over time, before starting collection, before archiving, that goes very naturally together. The idea of broad consent, which is facilitated by the general data protection regulation, also provides some opening to what's open science. I think it would at least have to contain two elements. One element is that you should make explicit that data will be shared, that data will be open, subject to some conditions. The second element is, of course, that one of these conditions is that basically people are not so much consenting to specific research objectives, but to a particular form of governance, a particular way of controlling access and controlling use. And so that's where the third principle comes in, the principle of good governance. It's actually about facilitating good use, accountability, and transparency about how you go about collecting data. And also about engaging with other stakeholders, publics and patients about whether these goals are actually worth the while. This is also, of course, the idea of public accountability that's playing a role in open science. So what I've tried to do here is quickly walk you through into what in my view is now quickly emerging as a kind of the standard paradigm for open science in the context of European research policy. What I see happening with respect to the fair data stewardship principles, the idea of open science is that open science isn't so much opposed to data protection and privacy. Once you start making standards explicit, once you start preparing for responsible reuse, and once you start thinking more systematically about how you should govern data. And in order to achieve that, we also need health research infrastructure to provide guidance and governance. And that's what